At this point, I think Sevilla might like to be in the movie better than in the Bernabeu. There, Eber Banega, the 5-0 etched in his face. And Cristiano's hungry for more. Second half underway. 5 for Real Madrid. First time the Sevilla has given up 5.5 since they were demolished at Zaragoza some 30 years ago. The bad news, that game they actually lost 8-1 at the end, and I don't think Real Madrid is done yet. Phil Shane, Ray Hudson, and you. And if you haven't called your friends to tune in, now would be a good time to do it. What was the key in the first half? What did Real Madrid do? Because as we took a look at the stats, Sevilla actually has more of possession of the ball than Real Madrid does.
Right, so that's another reason why I keep telling you about statistics, Phil. Throw them away, baby. Because what it boiled down to was that Real Madrid had better rhythm than a Jamaican kettle drum band. And when they needed to be piercing and punctuating, they did with just ruthless efficiency. And it was a masterclass of not just high quality finishing, but quick thinking and a multitude of options to pick from. And the lineup that we're seeing here for poor Sevilla could not contain them. Real Madrid, like marbles on a glass table, couldn't get close to them. I think they were fortunate, of course, to get off to the races so quickly. It might have been a little different or more closely contested, but how are they going to top this? As the Jamaicans say in that wonderful island, this has been Real Madrid tappity-tap.
Nacho, who's been vital, Asensio effervescent, and Hakimi, what a debut goal.
Yeah, nice finish.
Talked about the fact they're missing Carvajal, Casemiro, Ramos, and Tejera due to suspension. Bale, Varane, and the youngster Zidane due to injury. And they're still 5-0 up on a rival for a Champions League spot.
Now, how much now is damage limitation for the Nervionenses? Sevilla. Marcucci got a lot of problems to solve here.
Nice from Muriel, overlap. Navas sends it across. Nolito almost had it, but Hakimi again. Mentioned the scoring, but defensively you can see he's learning. Cross just enough.
By Jesus Navas on that situation there. Wide, it's a beautiful crossfield ball, but nobody lurking in the center of the attack. Ben Yedder, where are you?
That's something else we talked about before the match got underway. Not saying really defensive, but this was, I guess, a more defensive lineup than could have been put out there by Sevilla. You look at the bench, they have Ben Yedder, they have Correa, they have Geis, they have Sarabia, they have Ganso.
Yeah, they went with the defensive lineup a little bit more, and look at the scoreline. It's a footballer.
And we laugh again. I have a feeling Sevilla fans, well, in all honesty, all they might have is laughter and the fact that they're only about 40 minutes away from this match being in the history books. But 3 points could be in the books for Real Madrid. And we were talking about the first half, Ray, the fact that it seemed like even after the Nacho goal, Sevilla might come back, get the equalizer, and maybe even pull away with a win. But this does seem to be a message game for Real Madrid as they close out La Liga on the year.
Yeah.
At least prior to a Clásico, and they are putting quite a message out.
Certainly the big message sent to Gremio and Al Jazeera, all waiting over there for the World Club Championship. This team is going to take some stopping when you look at the bench and you look at the players that are suspended. Oh Lord. And how long ago was it that that man down there with the bald head in the technical area was again being savaged and being questioned? And I bet you there was plenty of them in the Peñas all around looking at that lineup today and seeing, oh, not sure about this. As we used to do in the algebraic equations, Phil, I never finished many of them, but the smart lads did, and it would say QED, what we set out to prove. Not over, but, you know, it's over. 5-0. And Real Madrid in full Toni Kroos control.
Cristiano drops it back. Asensio has been ever present as well as effervescent on the day. Wide for Marcelo, kicks it wide. Mercado.
Wow, look at that. That must be a defective ball. Yeah, Marcelo looking at the referee saying, can I have that ball changed?
Speaking of the Club World Cup, already underway, the play-in game done.
Who won?
That one ended up going Al Jazeera's way, but
hey,
they'll be in action again, taking on Urawa for the right to face Real Madrid in the semifinal. Omar Gonzalez and Pachuca eked out an extra time win over Wydad Casablanca, 1-0 in Abu Dhabi. So they will move on to face Gremio in the other semifinal.
That was a late goal as well that won that one, Phil.
Yep, Ureta Vizcaya, one of your favorites out of Uruguay, setting up Victor Guzman in the 112th.
Nice.
So congratulations to Pachuca. Gonzalez, a late substitute in that one, maybe a chance to play against Gremio and Archer.
Well played, Benzema. Saw that ball to Cristiano that looked as if it should have been played, but it was well contained by the red shirts and holding up possession nicely. Benz had a good game.
Down goes Asensio. Real Madrid with a 5-0 lead for the first time since last January 2016 when they did it against Sporting Gijón. Of course, Sporting relegated. This against Sevilla, who's fighting for a European spot. Muriel draws the foul. Does seem as though it's off the burner, at least maybe to a back burner. Chance tucked in, but not quite clean enough by Nolito.
Lovely approach again from the red shirts. It's a real personality about this team in red. The scoreline is just been emphatically endorsed by this rapier attack of Real Madrid. It's been very direct.
Chance for Muriel, low to the near post, but Navas is ready.
Easy pickings for Kela. Perfect position. Look at this. Beautiful quickness down like a cat.
Talked about the subs that are available on the Sevilla bench. Not as though Real Madrid has an empty cupboard. Dani Ceballos, Kovacic back. Mentioned Isco earlier, along with Teo Hernandez, Marcos Llorente, and Borja Mayoral.
I think there should be a Keylor Navas shirt day at Real Madrid. I really do.
Does anyone ever buy goalkeepers' jerseys?
Well, that's what my whole point is, Phil. That's my whole point.
You're looking for a new revenue stream.
All these white shirts there, and that man in yellow, sometimes he wears black, is so overlooked in so many circumstances. The years that he's been here at Real Madrid, he's been absolutely imperious. He was way down the list for me, along with Oblak in the FIFA Goalkeepers of the Year award. But I think that would be a lovely day. I'm going to have a word with the Presidente.
Asensio, Marcelo thought about it. Smartly, Vasquez heading it back to Sergio Rico.
Just to show their support and recognition of the man everybody always forgets. The man in between the sticks.
And again, the man who almost wasn't here.
Yep,
in the airport, tears running down his cheeks until the fax machine.
Isn't that amazing? The fate of the fax, Phil. The fate of the fax.
Of course, now they're talking about another push for De Gea. Maybe if that doesn't work, Kepa Arrizabalaga from Athletic. And in the meanwhile, Keylor just keeps stopping them game in, game out.
Wonderful interception there by Hakimi Ashraf. Wonderful step in that was, and this is where it all leads to.
Close across, nice one-touch bend straight to the chest of Hakimi.
Sharp again.
Vasquez.
Karim.
Again, Hakimi, one of those that Zidane took a little flack over at the start of the season.
Of course he did.
Modric sending it wide to the Madrid-born Moroccan. Decent ball, but Mercado cuts across. People saying Real Madrid needed to bring in some more new faces. They needed more reinforcements. After all, who's going to back up Carvajal? Well, showing faith in Achraf Hakimi is starting to pay off in dividends for Real Madrid.
Gareth Bale exclusion, these countless injuries, Phil, has been a real big spanner in the works for, well, for everybody at Real Madrid, the players, the coach, and the brilliant form of Isco has thrown up a different set of problems and questions. As brilliant as Isco has been, continues to be.
Tucked in at the top of the 18. Beautiful kick bends. Back for Benzema. Tries the outside of the boot shot. Keeps it alive against Banega until the whistle finally blows.
Nice setup again. Marcelo starts it all. Lovely play from Cristiano, but Benzema doesn't trust the left foot to take a good swing as substitute Sarabia looks as if he's going to come in.
And Nolito taking the short walk. Sarabia, the 25-year-old Madrid-born product of the Fabrica before moving to Getafe and now on to Sevilla, stepping in.
Another wonderful Spanish player, Sarabia, and it's only a Spanish youth international. How many times have we seen that? How many times do we hear about it? Wonderfully talented footballers not able to get into the Spanish national team. In that World Cup, man, I think they are going to be decorating it with the Spanish football. Be a different side. Oh, look out! Oh, mama!
Banega.
That was very close. Banega
plucking
Tony
it out of the fire.
Nearly getting by him.
Bursting forward, Muriel cuts back. But now what? Modric in good position. Who needs Casemiro? Not happy and not willing to accept the apologies from Muriel.
Huh. Well, a lifetime looked like a half-decent challenge. Let's see if it was right. The ball gets by. Is there any contact on the player? The ball's won by Muriel, but
momentum.
Yeah. Modric would have done the same. Good tackle from the side, but as you say, Phil, the momentum of the body coming through, he cannot stop that. He's fine. Croatian hardness.
Pisado. You look at some of the video before the match, what they had all of the uniforms laid out in the dressing room. Guido Pisado, the defensive midfielder, the Argentine, in the center of the screen there, as he gives chase to Lucas Vasquez. Now touch back to Asensio. Had his number 14 jersey in red, his cleats, and some Cristiano Ronaldo shin pads. So might not be in his head, but he's at least in his socks, and Cristiano has had the better. Out for Muriel.
Great
and
pace.
Nice tackle, Vallejo.
It's the pace here from Vallejo, comes across beautifully. Wonderful Varane type pace, covering that distance impressively. The Exara man wearing Pepe's shirt. Well, it's not Pepe's shirt, it's his old number.
And again, one of those that Zidane showed faith with, many saying that Pepe, arguably one of the best center backs on the planet the last few years, would be missed. And he has been at the beginning. There's always going to be a bit of a transition. And it's not as though Rafa Varane has been healthy game in, game out. Injured again here. But when they've needed, Vallejo has done more than fill in.
In this lad as well, Nacho.
Mr. Utility.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where Zidane puts him. Banega finding a little pocket of space.
The 20-year-old Jesus Vallejo, Phil, one that we're talking about, has looked very assured and concentrated and focused in his style. I like his style. I like his body language, his movement when he walks. He's a good walker. Sometimes when you watch a thoroughbred horse race, you see them in the ring, and how they walk is important. And this Jesus Vallejo is a wonderful athlete. And number 3, look at him.
Good ball through. Not just too far for Muriel. Colombian using his speed and his teammate. And for Marcucci, there will be other days. Well, Real Madrid has their match against Leganés pushed off until next year. Sevilla will be back in action at home against Shakhtar and Levante on Friday.
Leganés will be too upset about not taking this deal.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
Of course, you think about it last year. When Eduardo Berizzo was in charge of Celta Vigo, there was a similar situation. And in some ways, the fact that that match got pushed back could have cost Real Madrid the title. Because Real Madrid flying high, Celta Vigo was shorthanded. But by the time they played at the very end of the season, the situation's reversed. Banega kicked wide for Lionel Carroll. Pizarro, Vasquez. Vasquez.
That's a beautiful play.
In, but not exactly on the same page.
Absolutely wonderful from Lionel Carroll. We are seeing the emergence of an absolutely wonderful player here for Sevilla that we will enjoy throughout this La Liga season and many more to come. The French international, ex-Galatasaray man, Lionel Carroll. And now starting to pull in some of the big guns. Tony was absolutely wonderful. This was the thunder at the end of his lightning attack, that he was the architect, the constructor, and then the demolition man. Well played.
Stepping in will be Marcos Llorente, the 22-year-old. Been with Real Madrid since 2008. Spent last year as part of the miracle at Alaves. And again, another Zidane pick. Many thought he would be loaned out again. He said, no, we need him for a backup to Casemiro. And that's kind of the position he'll play now. Expect Modric to push even further up. And here he is with his first touch on the ball, the Madrid-born midfielder. In for Llorente. Back to Asensio. More patience now. Comfortable Real Madrid. Might not be put to bed with a hot water bottle yet, but the water is steaming on the stovetop. Far side for Nacho Fernandez. Here's Marcelo. Vasquez over on the left. Pizarro knocks it free.
Really good time to throw in young Marcos, isn't it, in a game like this?
The spin carries away from Sarabia.
He's got Spanish internationals that he could throw into that exact same position in the likes of Mateo Kovacic. All right, you people, it's Mateo, but he scores well, but Zidane going with the kid.
Ronaldo touches it past
Unlucky.
Lionel Carroll, but the second touch goes a bit too far.
Mercado intervening, and a nicely intended ball from Cristiano to his French teammate, who's looking to get on the score sheet as best he can.
Touched nicely by Muriel. The return pass, though, maybe a bit too hard by Sarabia.
There's payback, of course, because this is the Sevilla side that beat Real Madrid at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan start of the season. Nice way to get your revenge. 5-0 at half time.
Hustle. Ronaldo wants to get that third goal, but now wants a little more movement. Not satisfied with 5-0.
Oh, nicely. Beautiful play.
Stutter step from Modric. Dishes wide. Hakimi.
Wonderful change of balance there from Luka against Banega.
Llorente off a give and go. Keeps it going to Marcelo. Early ball in. Benzema! And he can't buy a sixth.
Again, magnificent from the ex-Fluminense man, who picks out his pass the way only Marcelo can. Beautiful accuracy to pick out the dandruff off a bee's wings from 20 yards, Marcelo. Fabulous ball. When we look at this again, Benzema could do no more. He arrows this one beautifully, and Benzema shaking his head, denied by the goalkeeper's big white skinny friend, the goalpost. Rico, as you say, Phil, pushed it wide onto the post with his eyes. What a ball from Marcelo.
Will it hold? Ronaldo into the corner. Mercado to the goal line, sneaks it back. Ben settles at the top of the box, in for Marcelo, and it's banged off the back of Lionel Carroll.
Marcelo gets this one full of meat and potatoes with his strike, but Carroll just doing enough by his positioning. A little bit of luck as well. Wonderful setup from Ronaldo and Benzema.
Foul called as Navas showing his frustration, and he better be careful. He's already got one caution.
Well refereed.
Nailed the plant foot.
Yeah, cynical, all right. Look at this pass. I mean, that is pixel perfect perfection. And the header, look at this again. What a wonderful replay. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Finally, I get a Marcelo highlight.
Driven in, cleared high by Vasquez. Former teammate of Paulo Dybala back in their Palermo days.
Ole!
Marcelo, a little Dybala-like. Asensio in. Longley out.
Aye.
Top of the box. Maybe one touch too many from Llorente. And now the other way for Muriel. It's a foot race against Hakimi. The Colombian in the box, and Hakimi stays with him.
Music to his ears, that applause. Again, thank you. Absolutely amazing vision, placement, perfection. Benzema, beautiful with his header, unlucky. Harsh critics would say he should have scored, probably right by his standards.
Banega will swing this one in towards Keylor Navas. Nope. Plays it long, top of the box.
Ooh, well played.
Sarabia. Now another change coming in off the bench, and it's going to be Dani Ceballos. He's had to deal with garbage time for the most part since coming over for Betis.
Hate that expression, Phil. Got to tell you, garbage time. You're a footballer coming off the bench for any club, especially for Real Madrid. Garbage time, not such thing. These are wonderful minutes that he's going to have to play for the world champions in front of the fans.
Luka Modric coming out for the Utrecht youngster.
Marvellous, marvellous, marvellous. Full thunderous applause, as if the fans are saying, that's more like it, Luka. That's how we'll always remember you. Please don't leave us. There was one wonderful sequence there earlier. It'll never be shown in his highlights, but it was absolutely wonderful on the shift of balance in front of Eva Banega just about 10-15 minutes ago, where it was absolutely beyond world class, ingenious, and a joy to behold here tonight. A big part of building up this 5-0 lead was Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, who are rested by the tremendous Zidane.
Johannes Geis coming in. Bit more defensive midfielder than Franco Vasquez, on loan from Schalke. Loaned out in part because Schalke wanted to see how a certain kid from Dallas named Weston McKennie could do, and he's done pretty well, so maybe a chance for Sevilla to get Geis on a more permanent basis next year. Marcelo in. A little too tight on that line for Benzema. Vallejo. Little things like that, just being in the right position so you don't need to do anything that looks like that much of an effort. A smart player on the back line. Marcelo again. Carroll drops back, but Hakimi steals, just can't get the touch. Anticipates, but the touch gives it away.
Well, first blot on his copybook. The impressive Lionel Carroll allows way too much space between him and Hakimi. He pounces.
Still one substitute left for Real Madrid. Mayoral, Isco, Kovacic, Theo Hernandez, and then the backup keeper Kiko Casilla. Would imagine it would be Borja, as he will leave some of the regulars rested for the plane trip to Abu Dhabi. One sub left for Sevilla. They have the aging veteran Condelli, who scored last time out, along with the young Argentine Correa, Wissam Ben Yedder, Ganso, and the backup keeper David Soria, former Real Madrid youth player, and I'm sure he's glad he's on the bench. Final quarter hour approaches. Rico cross midfield, and Sarabia couldn't quite get it done. Well, this is interesting. Looks like it might be Isco instead. David Bertoni bursting out to give him some instructions. Like you could tell Isco what to do. Would imagine Asensio, Vasquez, or Benzema would be the ones. Asensio with Hakimi wide will use him. Back in corner of the box for Ronaldo. Laid off by Vasquez. Again Benzema. Asensio keeps it rolling. Marcelo to the middle. Carroll in position on the volley. Overhead try. So close for Ceballos, and then Looks like more man than ball, Lucas Vazquez. Now this is a bit interesting. It sounds like, if you listen to the PA announcer, it'll be Ronaldo who exits.
I was just going to say this may be the time to pull out Cristiano. I'm not sure that he likes it sitting on a hat-trick, but the applause should deafen out all of that for what he's done in his wonderful week of accepting the Ballon d'Or and then 2 goals, and he understands it. And Zidane's probably doing the right thing. And just saw there what can happen as Mercado steps into an iniquitous-looking type of ball that nearly took his head off from Lucas Vazquez. Those things can happen. His legs tire. 5-0 in the books. Nothing more to gain other than a goal that would seal the hat-trick. And I'm not sure that Zidane hasn't done the right thing. He's certainly, for me, done the right thing, resting out his star player and pulling him in out of harm's way.
And again, you think about it, last year when Zidane stepped in and pulled Ronaldo the first time, no handshake on the sideline, sullen. You could practically see the smoke curling out of that plastic covering on the Real Madrid bench, but not this time. He's kept him fresh, helped him to another European crown, another world crown, another Ballon d'Or, another FIFA best. I think Ronaldo realizes Zidane might know what he's doing. Marcelo hangs it high for Benzema.
He's not happy with that one. Doesn't quite get it right, but still finds his target.
This one of the early matches, Getafe and Eibar, no score. Real Madrid more than made up for it with 5 in the first half, although credit to Sevilla, they've kept them at bay for the last 31 and counting. After this, Deportivo will take on Leganés, and Valencia against Celta Vigo.
Oh, well played. Oh,
you forgot about the man in yellow. Marcelo. Of course, Valencia, Celta Vigo going on beIN Sports and Espanol. Same time the Derby d'Italia will be renewed here on beIN Sports, and huge match for Juventus. Here's Isco.
Not a huge match for Internazionale as well, Phil.
Top of the table, looking down at the world.
Here you go. Acid test for Inter.
Laid wide, Vazquez. Now Isco drags Mercado, but gives it away. Even 5-0 up. Some fierce defense, maybe a little too fierce for Muriel's liking. As you can see, bundled up, the temperature in the 50s at kickoff.
Nothing but disappointment there, and no matter what they pull out of this game now, if anything, it's been a disaster for Sevilla. The early goal set the table, the pressure release goal that I called it at the time, and then it was all downhill skiing for Los Blancos.
But as you said, it was the second goal that really seemed to stick the dagger in, the penalty against Navas.
Absolutely. But purely authoritative, controlled win, full of dominance from a weakened Real Madrid side, and it's just tick, 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 all of the boxes, starting with the man at the top, Zidane.
Asensio back for Ceballos, off to Hakimi, who closed out the scoring in the first half.
I mean, literally, it couldn't be called anything other than a perfect day. Your Lou Reed song. They'll be playing in the locker rooms of Real Madrid tonight. It really has been an absolute perfect day. Young boys have come in, the substitutes now thrown in, the big stars being suspended and rested, and against the Sevilla side that came in full of confidence and pluck and hope and ambition, they were taken apart and really undressed by that man's team there.
Michael Krondelli, the 34-year-old Dane, coming in for Ever Banega, never really able to get on track today. Credit to the Madrid midfield. By the way, just misreading my notes, the penalty, actually the third goal. The second goal was that pass from Asensio that threaded the needle.
Aye, for Cristiano.
And then Toni Kroos with another beautiful build-up. Vasquez, the one that made the final touch to the German. And then Cristiano and Benzema setting the stage. First Moroccan international to score in Madrid history. And it probably won't be his last, the 19-year-old Achraf Hakimi. Right at the midfield stripe, Isco brought down. Marcelo keeps it in. Guido Pizarro blocks it out. It'll be another corner for Real Madrid.
Captain going for the tunnel pass.
7th corner by my count. Well, Real Madrid stumbled a bit last time out. Barcelona had dropped points, but Real was unable to take advantage themselves with a scoreless draw at San Mamés. No such problem here. Bends, settles, Kerr flies in to clear. Simon Kerr back from Fenerbahce. Navas out wide. Tries to get around Hakimi, who slid over. In for Muriel. Gets the dart down low, but Navas gets lower. And quickly out. Half-hearted scramble back by Sevilla. Asensio, Isco. Well, their next league match will be the 23rd of December against their old foes. Marcelo in the corner. Mercado nipping at his heels. Right here at the Bernabeu as they welcome league-leading Barcelona. Will that match define the league? And it sounds strange to say because there's still a half a season to go.
You're saying all this now. I said this on the locker room last night, that anybody discounting this Real Madrid team, you're dreaming. This isn't just a world-class club with the multitude of players that they have had. Everybody was talking about it on the locker room last night, and I said I still fancy them to win La Liga, despite the fact that they've been off kilter and off their high note. Is unquestionably they have been. It started out with Ronaldo's exclusion with the suspension. Navas got a bad injury as well. There was a multitude of good reasons behind it. Phil, this is going to be a bottleneck. Wonderful race on beIN Sports, this La Liga race, down to the wire. I think it will go. And certainly the Clásico on the 23rd of December, bright and early at 7 o'clock, is going to be, again, the immovable force facing, well, you know, the swinging object. I mean, it's going to be an explosive game. And Real Madrid, right now, ahead of the Clásico, are just getting started.
Vasquez back for Asensio. Nice tackle by Pizarro. Second effort by Marco. Top of the box, volley Llorente, but he catches it off the shin. So even though the history books,
pass and a swing and a bad miss all the time, and the wonderful vision, but he gets it all wrong, shins it, and he'll be thinking about that one, the young lad, when he puts his head on his pillow tonight. Because in practice, Phil, 9 out of 10 go in. Showtime, different world.
Nice from Navas, but pressured on the cross, straight to Navas's arms. Jesus to Kaler. So even though the history books show no team has ever come from 10 points down,
yeah,
you just think that makes the comeback that much sweeter.
Yep.
And here's the standings as we speak. It's down to 5. It could be down to 3 if they would have been able to get the win against Athletic. Maybe Atletico, the big winners, they can climb up to 33 if they get the win.
Ball from Asensio, that.
Vasquez wide. Marcelo in. Isco wants. Vasquez tries to feed him. Condelli in the way. 5 minutes and change remain. Hakimi again. Asensio. Isco. Hakimi to the 6, and out comes Sergio Rico to deny the brace.
Wonderful ball again from Asensio, and Asensio saying to Hakimi, just head it home.
He's 6'5", not that easy to lift it over and tuck it under, but Muriel not going to get that speedy a run from the 34-year-old Condelli. "51 goals for Cristiano Ronaldo, including 2 today.
You know, one of the other things for Cristiano is the first player to score in all the 6 group stage matches in the Champions League. Nobody's ever done that, so there's another feather in his cap.
Not done writing the history books just yet. Isco splits Marcelo and bends. Muriel's trap goes straight to Ceballos. Sevilla trying to keep Real Madrid at bay. Would love to see some consolation down at the other end. Most goals Real Madrid fans have seen at home in quite a while. Hakimi for Mercado, who just nods it away. Did have 7 on the board at the Bernabeu back in March against Celta de Vigo. And by the way, Eduardo Berizzo and Ernesto Marcucci were on the bench for that one as well. They might be asking the travel agent if they could skip this part of the tour next year. Vasquez. Llorente. For Sevilla, scoreless second half, a building block?
No.
Or just a Band-Aid on the wound?
No, it's a good kick in the Kazi, isn't it? That's what it is. They've been dismantled, and Berizzo and Marcucci will settle them back in. And this was a bad night at the office, unquestionably meeting a Real Madrid side that were sharper than a porcupine's backside.
Snuck in Ceballos. Back for Dani. Deflected wide for the throw-in as we've reached the penultimate minute of regulation. By the way, we will be having action coming your way. Second half getting underway. PSG against Lille. Speaking of Berizzo, Marcucci and company, the Bielsa saga making that one even more interesting. Asensio giving NASA a race for its money. PSG, they have something to prove as they head towards the winter break. 2 straight losses and Unai Emery under fire. But with the early lead there.
Valencia up against Celta Vigo as well in Valencia. That won't be such an easy game. That'll be a good test for the boys with the bats on their shirt as they look to keep very much in touch with this wonderful race for the La Liga crown that belongs to these merengues. And they ain't gonna let it go, man.
Well, not unbeaten anymore, but Getafe taking care of that, trying to get back on track.
That was a great game last week. Enjoyed that match.
Part of La Liga Santander's magic.
Yeah.
You could have in a Getafe knock Valencia off the mantle. And then here you have two of the better teams.
Right.
A one-sided goal fest.
Yeah.
Poor touch, Carroll, but
I'm not sure.
nice from Sarabia. Muriel, but Hakimi and Vallejo helped to intercept. I know the youngsters stretching their legs, but they'd like to stretch the scoreboard a bit.
Beautiful, Marcelo.
2 minutes added.
Ping.
Vasquez with Ashraf. Hakimi. Ceballos. Llorente. Asensio back wide. The 19-year-old just a little more on it. Carroll with the deflection. Far side, Crondelli. Geis rolling it wide. Navas trying to swing it across. Here's Sarabia. 7 years in the Castilla. You know he'd love to score at the Bernabeu, but not this time.
Nice give and go as well with Muriel. Should have cracked through it. Nice
Scooped into the middle and in stride for Asensio. Vasquez. Foot on the pedal as he drives to the 18. Curling ball. Had the near post run for Benzema. And he misses Isco at the back post. And that might just do it. Maybe one corner left for Real Madrid before the final whistle. Nacho in the 3rd minute. Ronaldo back to back. Then Kroos and Hakimi before the first half comes to a close. 5-0 at the break. And it's still that way as we hit the final whistle. Handshake at midfield. Zidane, mission accomplished as they head to Abu Dhabi looking to defend their world crown.
A little bit of a disappointment in the second half if you're looking for the first half to continue, because the first half was absolutely radiant from the Merengues. Los Vikingos were merciless as Henry VIII in that first half. Superlative football from Madrid.